minutes. Have a motion, a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved as amended. New business, we have election of officers. Audra, would you?
Sure. Chair, members of the commission, it is that time again to elect officials for the following year, and that would be for the commission to do. Last year, you decided to go choose both chair and vice chair at the same time and just talks amongst yourself and kept the vote open. It's up to you how you want to do it, if you're comfortable with that again, or if you want to do a blind vote, whatever the group would like to do, it's up to you.
Any comments? And I'm willing to continue as chair if nobody else wants it.
I think we should just talk amongst ourselves
Okay.
and see if
Maybe
there's
we
more
should
than one person that wants it.
Turn our
then we'll-
microphone off.
Then we,
Anyone else interested?
anybody else want to be the chair? Kind of thought that.
By default.
Any volunteers for vice chair?
How about a vice chair?
If somebody wants to do vice chair, that's fine, I will do it if nobody else wants.
There we go.
I move that, that we have Dorothy as chair and Bruce as vice chair.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will get to it, Audra, in the annual report, but it says there that my term expired in April of last year.
Chair, members of the commission, that's changed, and you'll see that when we approve the annual report that you guys will get to look at.
That's what it says here.
Right, that was next to the goals. Well, it should have been changed. If it isn't in there, it will be. It'll be changed
I
to,
saw something in there.
it should be to 221, so it maybe not,
Okay.
might not have got changed.
'Cause
I
I
had
mean-
changed it, but there were two people who were working on putting this together, and she might have kept the old copy before it was changed, so.
I just
Yep.
want to make sure I'm
Yep.
legitimately
Yep.
eligible to
Yep,
be chair.
everyone who had the 18, it was changed to 21, and it will be before this is finalized. This is a draft
Okay.
of it, and so that will be
Great.
changed.
Thank you.
Yep. Good point.
We have a Maplewood Nature Center master plan. We have Ann here, I think, and lots of information.
Sure. Chair, members of the commission, we have Ann Hutchinson here, the lead naturalist for the Nature Center, to talk about the Maplewood Nature Center master plan. Ann, did you want to give a little background? Otherwise, I can from the reporter. You want to give a little background on what the master plan is and what we're doing, or would you like me to? Okay, sure. Just a little reminder, in September, the City Council approved funding for the Nature Center to conduct a master plan. And they worked with consultants from HKGI, where they were hired to develop a master plan and facilitate this process. And so they have been having meetings and outreach sessions and working really hard to put this together. I think some of you have been at some of these sessions. And Ann is here to give us an update on where we're at so far in the process. Is that about right? All right. So Ann, go ahead.
Commissioners, thank you for having me, and I'm delighted to be here to talk about the Maplewood Nature Center Master Plan. In November, we hired, well, actually, I think in September, we hired a consultant, Hoyt Kegler Group, and we have been working with them since November on this master plan. And so this is their presentation that they did for us, because we have limited budgets and numbers of meetings. They were agreeable that I could show their PowerPoint and give an update to you guys and get some input. Oops.
In 1 second, we're going to get Ann mic'd
I
up.
need a microphone, excuse me.
I didn't even notice because you're right next to me. You just have to turn it on.
Do I push something? All right.
Perfect.
Getting the go-ahead from Nick. So anyway, this is a little update. We'll review the schedule, some goals and objectives, some existing conditions, hopefully have a little discussion, and then I've also have a little update on some information that we've been gathering as part of the plan.
So we're going to introduce the master planning process, and as part of that, it was important to us to explore what is working at the Nature Center. We've been around for a long time, since 1979, and so we have 40 years of successes, but we really felt it was important to look ahead at seeing what some of the trends are for the next 40 years, as well as look at some immediate short-term needs that need to be addressed. So we're looking both at short-term and long-term needs as we go forward. So some things, seeing what is not working and what ideas could be considered for the future. Quick overview, some of the tasks. We wanted to assess the Nature Center, and that included a kickoff meeting and tour, collection and study of some background information, including site analysis and mapping, conducting a site and building evaluation with an architect, conducting program marketing and operations evaluations, and developing a community and stakeholder survey, and I have some initial results from that, and do input focus groups and meeting sessions. The next step was establishing the vision, goals and strategies. So we've had our first vision work session, which was just last night, and we're hoping for a second one in a couple of weeks. And we have met with our peer groups, some area nature center directors got together and we had a sharing session. And so we're in the middle of the visioning part. And then the consultants will develop the master plan. They will prepare some concept drawings, write up a report, and then at each step, there'll be an approval process and review. This is one of the steps that we're coming to you to give updates to the commissions, and there'll be more chance for another report a little bit later on with all the approvals. And then just to give you an overview of the schedule, so we're in January, March, we're looking at the vision. The consultants will be writing up the master plan in March, April, and then we're looking for hopefully final approvals by the end of May, and there's a little overview of the schedule there. Any questions so far? So just to review with everybody, our mission is to enhance awareness of land, water, and wildlife resources and to empower the community to become fantastic stewards of our environment. So some of the goals and objectives of the master planning process is we want to ensure that the future investments are grounded in a strategic vision for the Nature Center. And we're looking to review and suggest updates or additions to programming and interpretation that we do there. We always want to look at our partnerships, see if there's room for expansion or for additional partners, especially for programming and support of the Nature Center. We want to ensure that our building and maintenance of the facilities are not only adequate, but positioned to meet the demands of the next 20 years. And provide concepts for future site amenities and facility needs that are catered to accomplishing the desired vision that comes out of the process, and also, as well as being very sensitive to the site's natural resources. So we're going to, through the process, establish phasing and implementation strategies for the future, and hopefully to build relationships and cultivate buy-in. So let's look at some existing conditions. We've got about a 40-acre site, about 25 acres is wetland, 15 acres or so is oak woodland. We have 4 entrances. The main one is the 7th Street entrance. And we have the 3 neighborhood entrances that allow neighbors to walk in at a couple different locations. It's not marked on here, but note, I don't know if you can see the little mouse, but up here on this corner there is a service gate that opens up for large vehicles and trucks if we need maintenance, large maintenance. They can drive down this area here. And sometimes we have resurfacing materials and things put in there. Let's see. We are taking a close look at the visitor center campus and yard. This area is pretty tight. It's only about 1 acre. And it includes a picnic area. We've managed to put a lot of things in the building, the parking lot, as well as a little nature play yard. There is a wetland buffer up here. And so we're looking closely at this site because we're wondering about, in our visioning process, you know, are there other amenities we can put in? Is there room for, you know, any sort of outbuildings or other things that are suggested? So that's kind of our site conditions. Just a review of some of the services the Nature Center provides. We do educational programs, face-to-face, outdoors, hands-on learning, service learning, volunteer programs. The visitor center is staffed year-round, 8:30 to 4:30, and we have these other things that I'll kind of show in the pictures here. So let's look at that in a minute. Our attendance last year gives you a brief overview. We had about 8,500 visitors, and this is counting people that walk through the front door, not including people that are just walking the trails and not visiting the building. And then that's the breakdown of some of our categories here. Our largest group of participants is through public programming, which is things that are advertised in this brochure that you have in front of you. So a variety of adult, family, and kid programs that are offered year-round. So just some fun pictures. This is our Century College Service Learning Group. They were helping us prepare in the picture on the left, if you remember the 20 inches of snow last April 14th. We were supposed to do water quality and pond studies with a high school group. And fortunately, they were scheduled the week before, so they helped us shovel the boardwalk and drill holes through the ice so that we could do some of our water quality testing. That was a first for me. I hadn't had to have that prep before. And then on the picture on the right is our buckthorn removal actually here at City Campus. They help us haul and stack buckthorn as part of invasive species control and land management. Let's see, Visitor Center is a picture of the newly renovated Visitor Center inside with exhibits and educational materials, kids enjoying the furs and the taxidermy. Trails and grounds are really popular. In fact, as one of the survey results say that people spend, that's the main reason here is we have a 600-foot floating boardwalk, and it's really popular. As well as wildflower gardens. We have solar panels on the Nature Center and an energy exhibit. And our volunteer program is a program that we are proud of because we work with not only with individuals but also groups. And we look at bringing in volunteers as part of our education because they learn a lot about nature and then they can turn around and teach others about nature. So we have trail guides, we have citizen science monitors, and land management workers, gardeners, that whole thing. And we figured out we have at least a full-time equivalent in volunteer hours that we work with at the Nature Center. So without them, they're extremely valuable to us being able to operate our programs. And once again, we're open for all ages, all year round, from preschool puppet shows to snowshoeing and doing cultural heritage programs. So this next slide is an update about what we've heard based on that. I just received this information last night, so that's that little extra packet that you have of 3 or 4 slides. Stakeholder meetings. So as a result of our previous stakeholder meetings, MNC has space limitations affecting school group, school group visitation. Experience for general visitors when groups are on site, and staff ability to efficiently and effectively work. So parking, storage, office, and public gathering spaces insufficiently sized. Staff workloads are at a capacity. Volunteers and service learning opportunities are important, but it's also needs to be recognized that we have to manage the volunteer program. The site provides valuable habitat and open space, and we need to continue to look at partnerships and outreach. Nature Center is more than a nature center. It influences policy and practices in other city departments and local organizations, as well as helps educate visitors about how to be sustainable in their own neighborhoods. Increased awareness of the Nature Center is needed. We serve a broad range of ages with more depth for younger and older audiences than other nature centers is an asset to continue to build on. Staff programming at satellite sites has helped extend its reach, but it can be challenging due to the need to haul supplies back and forth, et cetera. There may be new opportunities arising thanks to the new big Wakefield building and City Hall campus in Fish Creek. So we always look at that. And then I just wanted to point out that we did, and it's still active, by the way, if you hadn't had a chance, on the City of Maplewood's main webpage on the banner going across, there is a chance to click on the link on the banner and tell us your input. So that's this, and this was also mailed out to all our neighbors. We have a stack at the Nature Center, and we've tried to publicize it in numerous different ways. So if you haven't heard about how to get to the survey and provide your input, it takes less than 7 minutes to answer about 25 questions on SurveyMonkey. Here's the link to take home, and remember to do that. Has anybody done the survey? Put you on the spot. All right, Dorothy, good job. Okay, so here's some initial results from the survey, but it's still ongoing, so we're continuing to get input. About even numbers of people visit alone with one other person or with a small group. About half of visitors bring children. 60% of visitors come from within 5 miles. 25% travel 6 to 10 miles. Half of the respondents are Maplewood residents, and half are not, which is not surprising considering the shape of Maplewood, the long stem going down there. Let's see. 11% walk to the Nature Center, but most drive. 16% have had trouble finding the entrance to the Nature Center. And 90% of respondents would be interested in attending programs or events at other neighborhood preserves if offered. People who haven't visited the Nature Center, the next slide, recently haven't, mainly because their kids are grown and they don't perceive there to be enough for older kids to do, which is interesting. Of the 50% of the people who visit, nearly all spend some time in the nature play yard and picnic area. Most of the people spend some time in the exhibit room and also trails and boardwalk. And it's becoming clear that they love using the trails, but they also love participating in unstructured exploration. That was the number one thing. You know, doing their own touch and see in the visitor center, watching wildlife, taking self-guided tours, which we have promoted through having backpacks that people can borrow and having self-guided. There is a self-guided walk with a brochure you can take, and a tree quest, so there's a lot of self-guided things. But public programs and nature play are the next most common things to do. Respondents are least satisfied with benches, parking, and nature play. Many wish the visitor center were open on Sundays, or would at least like a remote restroom for when the building is not open. When asked about a favorite exhibit, almost no one listed an actual exhibit. Except they mentioned trails, live animals, and boardwalks. So we consider the live animals an exhibit, but I think that speaks to maybe there's some room for improvement on our exhibits. People want to add more seating, trail improvements, and visitor center hours on Sundays, more interpretive exhibits, more nature play, and possibly an outdoor shelter. They are most interested in attending program topics on general nature study, environmental practices for their home and yard, environmental issues, and organized, especially luminary, I don't know, hikes, I don't know how that came up. Music-centered events were also popular and of interest to people. And then just a little note on the needs assessment. Short-term needs, more storage space and more efficient storage, a better organized office space, a boardwalk replacement, updated program interpretation offerings, and then long-term additional gathering classroom space so the touch and see interpretive room can remain accessible to the public during nature center programs, and the ability to offer mobile programming events at Maplewood's other neighborhood preserves and or city natural areas, such as Wakefield, which has a great natural area. So that leads us, I'll just pause for a moment. I do have some discussion questions to sort of stimulate any thoughts or ideas if time allows.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that. Kind of threw a lot of information at you. I think most of commissioners have been to the Nature Center. So if you've been to the Nature Center before, what are its strengths and what could be improved? These are some of the things that we're looking at overall. And if you have any thoughts as I ask these questions, please feel free. Are there facilities or services that may make the experience more enjoyable and or accessible?
My impression is it's this little jewel tucked away, and not a lot of people maybe know about it, and I think that's good. Parking is an issue, and it seems like it's a small enough area that if you exponentially increase the number of people that are tromping through the trails, that quiet nature experience that has been the enjoyable part. I mean, one person walking across the boardwalk, 25 walking across it, it's a different experience. And so there's a cautionary note for me to be careful what you wish for.
And you're not the only one that's expressed that in our stakeholder meetings.
I do have a comment.
Sure.
I don't recall when we were there, I did not see any live animals. And I'm wondering if there are shows that go with the educational pieces where animals are brought in from either a zoo or an exhibit that goes along with the programming there. I think that would make it really interesting.
I'm glad you asked that question. Our live animals are small. They're, reptiles and amphibians that are more easy care, so we don't usually keep mammals and things. And unlike some of the other nature centers, we don't have raptors because of the public nature of the park. It's hard to protect them because we don't have a gate with a lock that closes off the building and facility, so we keep everything inside. Anyway, but to answer your question, we have had people come in with various snake programs and augmented the live animal piece a little bit, but duly noted that I love it.
And I must say, I did see the small reptiles when I was there.
Oh, okay.
I think I was more interested in something a little bit bigger,
Right.
something a little bit more hands-on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys, do you allow the students or the guests to touch the animals?
Yeah,
at-
when we do use those animals, those are presentation animals, so we do live animal birthday parties. And so if you want to schedule a party, you have to choose snake, toad, or salamander, and we bring out the animal and the kids can touch and feel it as part of the party, and we have like snake skins and that kind of stuff. So yes,
Thank
the
you.
short answer. Okay, if you haven't been to the Nature Center before, or if you think in terms of someone that might not have come, what might attract people to come to the Nature Center? Or, if you know of somebody for some reason why are there any barriers that might prevent visitors from accessing or enjoying the Nature Center or getting there? Kind of two questions in one.
I will make a comment. I was a little uncomfortable with some of the furs, and not in a way of I'm against fur or anything, but I didn't expect to see as many taxidermy pieces there. So once again, I think that live animals, whether they be fish in an aquarium, would be more attractive for people to come in versus things that are, the other items that are currently in there.
Appreciate that comment. I don't have a pencil on me, but
So I noticed that, well, there are a pretty good number of people that had trouble finding the entrance, and I can see that. I assume that we've looked on Google Maps that it's well identified?
yeah, we did have some initial troubles with Google, but I think they've worked it out.
Okay.
Yeah. Great questions, though.
I think some of the signage coming off of Century makes it difficult. You got to know where you're going. Go, here it is.
I mean, sometimes I've wondered if we need like a little brown sign. You know how the state parks have the little brown sign that says Nature Center maybe on Mayhill or a little farther down on Century one way or another. Because we do, I don't know how often it is, but we definitely still hear people coming in and saying, I've lived here for 20 years and I didn't know this was back here. So, so we do try to get the word out. But are there any winter, so on to that fourth question, are there winter facilities or activities that could be provided to encourage expanded year-round use? Right now we do offer rental of snowshoes. And before you say cross-country skiing, we felt like it's only a mile of trail, so to, prepare the trail. But if people want to bring their own skis in and ski, that's fine. But any other thoughts on that, or?
One thing I've seen done, I'm in the Boy Scouts and other camps, they have more of a winter survival aspect of it, of building the shelters and with the snow. If that's something you have the space to do, I'm not entirely sure of, but that's something that I know the youth have really enjoyed in seeing that, be it being shown how to build a campfire in that area in that time of year, or building either, usually not an igloo because those take a long time, but Quincy huts or something of the sort. That could be something that could be introduced.
And somebody, and it wasn't me, on the survey talked about luminaries, but I keep seeing all these trails that are doing hiking and snowshoeing at night with luminaries out. So somehow that's kind of getting to be a trend. And if you've only got a mile,
Right.
it might be
Yeah, a fun thing to do.
Kinda try it.
We did a first one this year, so yeah, we had fun. We
Yeah.
want to do it again. Any opportunities for partnerships related to interpretation or education programming or marketing? And I'm really curious what you think about communication and social media.
I really think that we have to move forward in our efforts to communicate, and having a social media page directed for those activities would be great. You also mentioned educational pieces, and I think when I was at the center, I asked and talked about, are you affiliated with Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts for them to earn merit badges on location? If there are any scavenger hunts, anything that the participants can do so that it is badge earning, would be a great activity and partnership.
We do offer a number of Scout programs, and it's, I think the hardest part is getting the word out, so marketing and finding those leaders where they're at. So, but we do offer, yeah, we have a whole slew of programs that we do. And they can be found on our website. And I think then we need to work with our parks in our city on our social media and Twitter, because we're still, we're still working out those sort of details. We have a Facebook page. But so we continue to work with our communications department on that and trying to get the word out.
Just one thing. I know other nature centers. I live near the Oakdale Nature Center, and they have geocaches around the area. Is that something you have at the Maplewood Nature Center, or something that can be implemented? Because that can be implemented fairly easily.
And I'll just chime in here, Chair, members of the commission. We kind of went back and forth with where geocaches go. We actually have a program, maybe we need to do a little bit more to put it out there, but it was actually an Eagle Scout project where they got caches to put in all the parks and the open spaces, and there is one at the Nature Center, but there's also, they're trying to balance letting other geocaches into the nature just because of the potentially disruptive nature of putting a geocache in. So we're kind of looking at revamping that program a little bit because it's been the same geocache that's been hidden for quite a few years, and the clues have been the same. So we are looking at maybe freshening it up, and maybe another Eagle Scout would come and take that project on.
And I know geocaching.com has put geocaches on some of the open space sites as
Yeah.
well, so. Just on their own. Good thoughts, though. Keep them coming. How do you think we can better communicate facilities and programming with our community or within our community?
I guess that goes back to the partnerships that you talk about, and I know that there are area schools around. How are they receiving the information? And a lot of times, visual things are great for elementary kids, if they're flyers, and if the information is placed out there on our website, along with having those visual pieces at the school in plenty of time, and communicating with the school and asking them to participate, I think that would draw more interest. I know when we present things in the summertime, we have a lot of visual things. We have the big trucks on there. We have what's going to be going on with Parks and Rec, and that's very draws a group of people in. It's a great attraction.
Do you think that using paper flyers is still appropriate, considering all our marketing and all, our social media and digital marketing? That's where we're trying to move to, is digitally, but sometimes, I wonder about the effectiveness of that. So it's interesting to hear you say flyers and things.
As long as we recycle, I think
Yeah.
that the flyers are a great idea.
Yeah, okay. We still do some too. Clearly you have one in front of you. So I appreciate your comments, and I would really encourage you to take a few minutes to do the survey if you haven't, and sure, go ahead.
One thought that just popped into my head. Do you do any advertising visuals, posting of flyers and things at Maplewood Mall? There's a kids' play area there that is jam-packed
I don't
always.
know that we do. I don't think that we do.
And in terms of reaching your potential audience, those are parents that are taking their kids out of the house to do something with them. They're looking for a play area and activity. And it's always busy. It's up outside the food court by Kohl's, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
I know you're limited on space, but I think there are a lot of people that don't even know about it. And I'm trying to think how you can get some big event that just.
With 17 parking spaces.
I know. And I'm trying to, just get my head wrapped around how you could, I think it's really just people just don't know about it. It's so tucked away that people will never know by driving by. And you really need to find it to really know all of the, the neat things that go on. I know you want to keep it a secret, but I think that's not our job. Our job is to get, not maximum usage, but you want to get good utilization from our parks. And so somehow or another, I'd like to try to get the word out a little more.
Do you feel that it's being way, way underutilized? Because I read that staff is at capacity in terms of programming and things. If you bring a whole bunch more people in, what are you going to do with them?
I think that there is room for increased visitation. I'm not saying we want to double our numbers, but I think we could improve the numbers of people that without, and still have a good balance of a nice jewel and quiet sanctuary. And it wouldn't affect that too much. But I just do want to reiterate, first of all, I'll tell the location for all our viewers out there that it's 2659 East 7th Street, just off Century Avenue, 1 block north of Minnehaha, for anybody who hasn't been there. And we do have visibility through partnering with our Audra and the Parks Department for special events. We take booths out to some of the WOW events in the summer, and we helped with the Halloween event where there was lots and lots of people. And we always try to bring our map and our, little blurb about where we're located and have you been there. So hopefully that helps with a little bit of visibility.
I think the
Right.
birthday party thing is a nice way to get, a pretty good-sized group in there and know that it's there. And I see that you do, a couple hundred, well, those are a couple hundred people, so that can't be a ton of birthdays, but maybe we can pitch that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great way to get people who might not normally think of coming to a nature center to come try it out. So that's one of the comments in the questionnaire was being open Sundays because not everyone, only one day during the weekend, and that's you got your 2-day weekend when you're off work, and and
Right.
so something to look at.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is it possible to have any special event on a Sunday? Not that Sundays would be a normal time, but could it be something done during the summer to have a Sunday event?
Yeah, I think it could happen. Staff could look at that as a possibility. We've had, this year, I don't know if that, we are having a couple of special events. One is at the community center next week, but for Arbor Day, we're having a tremendous Arbor Day event on Saturday, May 4th. But for us, a special event is not 1,000 people. I mean, we'd love to have 100 people or 150 people. But the parking situation is a little bit tight, so we have to be creative about that. I think I'm going to pull up, does anyone have any other comments or questions? Or just going to pull up this flyer about our special event next week. And this is sponsored by our Friends group. We have a Friends of Maplewood Nature 501c3 nonprofit that people can donate to, and it supports special programs like this one, special exhibits, and other needs that the normal budget might not cover. This special event is called From the World Series to the State of Wonders, Brian Peterson's Evolution at the Star Tribune. And he has an author and a journalist. He's written a couple of books and has some gorgeous photographs, and he's going to share stories and photos from his books, articles, and travels across Minnesota. So that will be at the Maplewood Community Center, not the Nature Center, because we're hoping for a larger crowd. And that's Tuesday, March 5th, 6:30. Well, the event starts at 7 p.m., so invite everyone to join us there for that program.
Just escape.
Escape.
Thank you, Anne.
Any other questions? Thanks very much, Ann. Ann, could you tell us a little bit more about like the next steps in the process for the master planning?
Oh, yeah, the next steps are, we have another vision meeting, and then there will be, we will be going to a City of Maplewood Council workshop on March 11th to update the council about some of the things that we're finding. We'll have our second vision meeting after that, and then they will, prepare, do some rough drafts of concept plans. In April, we do hope, we will be offering an open house at the Nature Center. We haven't selected a date yet, but we'll be inviting neighbors and public to attend those and view the concept drawings and initial vision strategies and plans, and provide input there. And then there'll be a final council approval in May for the plans. I think we must come to the commission at some point too. I think we'll be coming back to the commission for final approvals as well.
And so there's no action required by the commission at this point?
Nope,
Yeah.
just an update and discussion.
Thank you.
And a reminder to take the survey.
Thanks, Ann.
Okay. Unfinished business, the 2019 Park and Rec Commission goal setting, and we will need a motion on this one at the end. Audra?
Thank you, Chair, members of the commission. We started doing the goal setting for 2019 at the last meeting, and some of you were not able to make that meeting, and some people who were here at the last meeting aren't here tonight, but I think I think you guys did some really good work, and you've got a consensus. You gave me some direction to go back and amend the goals, so I'm going to pull those up if I can have the computer. And then we also have an annual report to compile, and this was a draft of that, and so I kind of put it all together, so I think we'll get to the goals at the end and then tweak those, but I just wanted to go over the annual report, just so you can see we've updated it for this year and talked about project highlights, got some pictures of the new Wakefield building. The bottom left-hand corner is a picture of the Edgerton Garden improvements. The picture on the bottom right is the new playground at Maple Crest. You guys took such a good picture last year, and we haven't had turnover. You've all stayed with us, which is awesome. So we can still use the picture that we had. Again, as our chair pointed out, that anyone whose term had expired in 18, that was updating last year's list. It automatically is updated for the 3-year term, so those will all be changed to 21. But we did get Jack added in there, and he can stay as long as he wants. He doesn't have a term limit. So. And I believe our council liaison will be changing as well, but for right now, we left Brian, and we'll get that updated. But otherwise, still left in the Wakefield Park improvements, because it's still relevant. We're still finishing that up. And then I just wanted you to take a look at, those are the 2018 goals, which we went over in detail at last meeting. And then for the accomplishments of 2018, if you can take a look at those are some that were pulled out. If there's some that you think are missing that we want to add, but those are just highlights. We couldn't get everything, so we had a lot of good stuff happen, but if you could take a moment and look at those. And I'll read them for people while you're looking. The first one was the final design and construction of the Wakefield Park improvement. So we're in the building phase and almost completed. The Edgerton Garden garden improvements, which included those raised beds for accessibility. That was a really nice project in 2018. The replacement of the playground at Maple Crest Park. Again, community events, we can't name them all, but the Celebrate Summer events, 4th of July, movie nights, and then some community outreach events that we did with public safety, with police and fire, that were new this year, and we'll be doing more of those in 2019. We did the Parks tour. We'll edit that to just say Parks, because EEDD did not come with us, so it'll just be the Parks tour that we took. The Gladstone Savannah grand opening and the launch of the interpretive signage is all now in. The BioBlitz at Fish Creek. We still, even though we're going to be switching users at Harvest Park, I still put this in because we had a lot accomplished with that in 2018. And now it's hopefully set for Urban Roots to come in and carry things forward there. So I thought it was important to still add that in our accomplishments for 2018. We did the final review of the 2040 comp plan, and now we're got the Nature Center master plan going, and we're in the process of completing that. And then you guys are always weighing in on general open space updates, anything Maplewood Nature Center updates, and rec programming updates. So it's a lot of things. So if there's anything you think that is missing that's not in here, let me know.
Every time I see the bus tour, I go, yay. But I wonder if the wording and the placement of it, because it's not a bus tour for anybody who wants to come, it's for commission and city council. And does it need to be clarified under our goals that we will continue to do bus tours with commissioners? I'm getting picky.
Okay, sure, we can look at that. I would just, for this, it was just a list of accomplishments, and so.
No, I'm
Yep,
looking-
but you're going to the goals?
In the accomplishment,
Yep.
it says that,
Yep.
but in the goals, it just says bus
Sure.
tour.
Gotcha. Yeah, good point.
Otherwise, I think it looks wonderful, well-designed, very colorful.
Could we have the computer one more time, please? Thank you. Oh, perfect. Let's see if we can, there we go. Let's see. And the pictures, just to point out the pictures, the top two are from the Boo Bash, our first annual Boo Bash out at the Brinchup Farm. And I wanted to add the picture of Ginny Gaynor, our natural resources coordinator, in there. She's the one in the, oop, there we go. The photo helping do the Halloween science experiments, and then the picture, just wanted you to make note, that was a picture of the Parks Commission booth at the Touch a Truck event. And it's early yet, but we're giving the ask to you to consider doing that again for the July meeting this year, because we would love to have a Parks and Recreation Commission booth at the Touch a Truck event this July. So if you guys are willing, I think that was a great addition to the event. And then that's more pictures from the Touch a Truck. And then we'll get to the goals here to just make sure these are tweaked the way you want them. And while we're looking at those, the copy you have in your packet is with last year's pictures. So this is updated with pictures from 2018. That's the new interactive Gloucester Station. That's the playground at the Gladstone Savannah. That's the spin sign that got installed right before all the snow came. And then the picture on the bottom left is part of our duathlon bike rodeo that we did at Afton in last June. And then there's some kids enjoying from the Touch a Truck with their construction hats. So those were the pictures that were updated. But let's look at the goals again, just to make sure that I understood your updates. And I did add at the top, I mentioned innovative programming, because before we'd always kind of focused on parks when we talked about the summary of a year, but this commission has really been interested in the programming aspect of Parks and Recreation, which is great. So I just wanted to make sure that was reflected in the things that we do. So it was not just playground replacement and maintenance, Wakefield Park improvement projects, innovative programming, and many community events throughout the year, just accomplishing significant goals identified in the Park Systems Master Plan. So that was a change there, but otherwise, the goals are continue to implement the outcomes of the Parks and Recreation System Master Plan, continue to find new ways to engage the residents of Maplewood in community processes, offer special events at a variety of parks and make arts and culture a priority, ensure we are meeting the programming needs of the actively aging community and offer inclusive wellness-based activities in our parks, bus tour of Maplewood Parks and Preserves, so we absolutely can add in there that the commissioners will be doing this to showcase projects improvements, because I see how you're saying it could read like a bus tour the public could sign up for. So yeah. Stay on top of park improvement plans, value the youth perspective and recruit, appoint a student PRC member, maintain a playground prioritization list that includes funding, semi-annual updates to review the YMCA City of Maplewood partnership, be inclusive of populations who underutilize parks and rec facilities with creative and diverse programming and outreach through focus groups, and make connectivity and trails a priority in 2019. And we don't have to have the 2019, we could just make it a priority, but thoughts on that? For some reason I had written it down this way, but we could just make connectivity and trails a priority. So thoughts on that?
Maybe a little wording, I mean, it's always a priority. I think it's more, we want to, we've kind of not had as many updates as we maybe should have, and trying to think of a better, more, I think we need to have one meeting dedicated to it, or dedicated, have it as a main topic on one of our meetings, maybe. Because, I mean, it's on our master plan, it's always near the top, so this makes it sound like it hasn't been, but I just.
Gotcha. So you would like it to be as specific, and I had written that down too, where have a meeting, and I thought, well, there might even be more than one potentially, but if we can.
At least one.
Yep. So maybe say that at least have one meeting dedicated to trails and connectivity, have it read that way?
I'd like that, yeah.
Okay. Sure. Write that down.
There's room for one more accomplishment. We did recruit and appoint a student.
Oh, we have that up there. Don't we?
It's in
Oh,
the-
we didn't do it
It's
as an
a goals,
accomplishment,
but
just
it's
a
not
goal.
as an accomplishment.
It's true. We can add it in accomplishments for sure.
See, Jack, you can be an accomplishment.
Now you just need to find a replacement.
No, he can stay on top.
Well,
He doesn't have an end date on his.
so I think he graduates.
Every month, come back, unfortunately, and I'd like to give somebody else the opportunity.
That's true.
2, okay. Then I will make that change for goal number 11 and add 2 accomplishments. Okay.
Jack, can you be involved in searching for a replacement person for you and recommendations?
See if anybody would be interested.
Okay. I don't know how we found you.
Magic.
Magic, Audra's magic.
We got lucky.
Yeah, we did.
So anything else that you see that jumps out at you? And otherwise, I can make those changes. And then we would love to have we need to present this to City Council. So typically, we've been doing it that second meeting in March, because all the other commissions are kind of taking their turn. So Dorothy, if you would be able to do the honors to come and present the annual report to council.
What date is that?
That would be, I believe it's March 28th, but let me,
5,
I think it's the
12.
let me pull it up for sure.
What is it?
12.
No, it'd be the second meeting in March.
Meeting.
Second
Yeah.
meeting.
They meet the second and fourth Mondays
So
of
it'd
the
be the
month. So let me
28th.
pull it up here really quickly.
So the 28th.
Yes, the 28th. That's what I had in my head. Yep, and it would be under the first part of the meeting, so under appointments and presentations. So you'd be one of the first people to go at 7, and you wouldn't have to stay you could stay for the whole meeting if you like, but, and I'll be there as well, too.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other changes on that? Then if someone could make it a
We need
motion
a
to accept with
motion
the
to
changes.
accept the changes and revisions as we have discussed and Audra has presented.
Move to approve the goals and accomplishments as amended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do we also need an motion to accept the annual report? Okay, can I have a motion for the annual report?
I'd like to make a motion for the acceptance of the annual report.
Thank you, Kimmy. Is there a second? He's coughing. You second.
I'll second. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Do we have any visitor presentations? I don't see any. Commission presentations? Staff presentations? Audra?
Wakefield Park Project update.
I'm Chris Kirkhoff with Versacon Construction, and I'm standing out here at the Wakefield Park building inside the 30 by 40 foot multi-purpose community room. At our last update, we were just doing the rough and carpentry and setting the structural beams along with the roof joists. Since then, we've finished out the space, we've installed the windows that overlook Wakefield Lake, and we've installed the structural beams along with the beautiful tongue and groove cedar ceiling. One of the key features of the community room is our stone fireplace, which has a natural gas insert, which will help make this space feel warm and cozy. Another key feature to our community room is our servery, where people can serve food and beverages at their parties. And now let me take you through the rest of the building. Through these double doors, we have our main corridor, which goes to our front entrance. And from the main corridor, we also get to our handicap accessible men's and women's restrooms. Down the hall here, we have our program space room, which serves as a warming room during the winter season. When you come visit the building, you'll notice that in this program space, we've matched the cedar tongue and groove ceiling, which is the same as in the community room. And throughout the year, this space will be used for classes and other programs. And during the winter season, it'll be used for the new hockey rink right out here. Thank you for your continued interest in this project. Log on to the city website to learn about any upcoming events and rink hours.
And just a little update since then. The kitchen, they were just finishing a few final things in the kitchen. That's why you didn't get to go in with the video, but the servery is all completed. It has the fridge and the microwave. It looks really nice. And the fireplace doesn't have the cardboard in front anymore, but it was just, so the building, there's a few remaining things to be touched up here and there in the building, but otherwise it's good to go. We have actually been hosting our dance classes there. They started February 4th. And so Monday and Tuesday nights, the kids have been out there dancing, and the instructors were a little worried about the concrete floor at first, but actually it's worked out really well, and it sounds awesome with the tap shoes, so they're liking it. So it's a pretty fancy room to have a dance class in. So, and then the warming house has been open, and even though, as you know, with all the snow and or the super cold, it's been hit or miss, but we extended the warming house season, and the Wakefield rink will be open through this weekend. So this is the last weekend of the warming house with the scheduled hours, but if anyone gets a chance, come out and skate. It's a beautiful rink, so. All right. And then I just want to give you a few updates on some programs that are coming up. This is kind of a small flyer for the egg hunt, but what we're trying to do is still do the flyers, like Commissioner Porter said, trying to still get physical flyers out, either on Peach Jar, which is the electronic flyer version for District 622, or at the private schools, and District 623 still takes the paper flyers. So we're trying to combine activities, so we're not just doing a flyer for one program, so we do a lot of combo flyers. And this is a special event one that we have out now. So our Easter egg hunt that we do every year out at Edgerton Community Gym is April 20th. That's coming up. And then we have the Mother's Day bowling event, so kids can take mom out for bowling and pizza and have fun at Sunray. And believe it or not, the event that we're getting the most attention for, I think it's because of the awful weather, is the movie in the farm, the June 18th, where you can vote for your favorite movie, and we're getting a lot of buzz. I think people are happy to think of June and a movie outside, so they're paying a lot of attention to that. And then you'll just see save the date for the events coming up for the summer, so think warm weather. The Maplewood Summer Challenge is going to be kind of like a Ninja Warrior kind of event. We're not doing the duathlon. We're doing like a summer challenge and hoping to have police and fire involved and doing some stuff with kids and adults, and you can maybe challenge a police officer to an obstacle course or one of us. So it should be a lot of fun. More movies in the heart, the 4th of July. We're doing the Touch Truck again because that event just is great, and the YMCA is partnering with us again, so it'll be over at the community center, and that's the meeting that I was hoping, in lieu of having a July meeting, you guys would be willing to come out and man the booth again and meet all the residents. And then we have another movie there. August 21st is the end of summer celebration at Edgerton, like we had last year, so that is some fun that is coming up. And really quick, I'll just give you a little sports update. I saved that one for last, but I will pull up the egg hunt, just a little bit bigger for people at home so that they can see. Just to take a quick look. One thing I'd like to stress is it's coming up pretty quickly, and you do need to register for this event. It does fill up every year, and we end up, because we take registration ahead of time, and we try to guess for people who walk up at the door, but just to make sure we have enough eggs and candy and things for everybody, we need you to sign up ahead of time, so we just don't want you to miss out. So if you want to come, it's $5 a child, and kids 2 and under are free, but they can still come do the jump castle and have fun, but you do need to sign up ahead of time, so you can go online, you can call our Recreation Online number, 651-249-2111, to register for any of our programs. But just please sign up before it gets here, so. Yeah. And that's all I have for programming updates right now. Any questions for, oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I was going to tell you about tomorrow. We actually have some community outreach things that the department's doing. It's more just an FYI. They're doing a Wonder Comer. It's a job fair of sorts, kind of just to have, and groups of kids are coming in from different places where they get to meet people from different cities. It'll be Roseville, Shoreview, New Brighton, Ramsey County. All the groups are getting together, and they're Public Works, Community Development, Parks and Recreation, just having booths, and the kids are coming in. They'll get to walk around to the different areas and hear about jobs that are available or what it would take to get a career in one of these jobs, and do some interactive activities, and police and fire will be there. So it's a really neat job fair that the Sundance Foundation, I believe it is, Family Foundation, helps put on, and we're going to be a part of that. So we'll be down in the gym with 4 other Parks and Rec departments doing that. And then in the evening, we're at Carver Community Gym. They invited us to do it's their family literacy night, and they asked if we would come be part of it. So members of the police department, the fire department, and Parks and Rec will be there doing activities with the kids in the gym. So it's a nice way to do some community outreach and get to reach people that we don't always get to, and we'll get to talk to the families. And we will have our flyers there and all
I
our
was gonna say,
programming
don't forget your
information,
flyers.
because we can put it right in their hands, because District 622, we can't put paper flyers in their folders anymore. It's not allowed. It's only electronic. So being at this event, we'll get to directly meet the families and share our information, and we'll have Nature Center stuff there too.
Great.
That is all I have.
Any other business to come before the commission? If not, we stand,
Move to adjourn?
oh, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
A second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.